Now, distribution is just the opposite of accumulation. So, take those 500,000 orders, and they're to sell instead of to buy. And the same thing, you, the operator, you can't execute all those orders at once because if you want to sell, you want to sell at the highest price possible. So instead of buying at 5,500 price on the euro dollar, now you're selling, or you're going short 500,000 contracts at a price of 5,500. So you're going to end up buying some contracts above 5,500 again, and then some you're going to end up buying below 5,500. And when you average your positions, the average entry price is going to be 5,500 or better. And just like with accumulation, now it works just the opposite. A market can be moving up and still be under distribution, or the insiders are selling. And with the blue arrows here, I've marked the weak bars, the bars that show weakness up here. And by weakness I mean they show distribution by the insiders on each one of these bars. And when we get into our how we combine our price volume spread with the MFI indicator, we'll see, you'll be better able to understand why these bars are weak here, and it obviously shows that this market is at this level is under distribution or selling by the insiders. And the same thing here, this bar is going up and closed up, yet it's still closed weak, so this is a weak bar. This bar closed up, but it's also a weak bar. So going up, we can see early where distribution is starting, and once you see it roll over like 2 bars, usually that third or fourth bar will go ahead and break. But so that's basically it on distribution. You need to know if a market is under distribution, because you may be thinking of entering that market, and you want to go long. You think, yeah, the market's going to go up, but then you do your check and you see that, okay, the market is under distribution. I know I shouldn't go long here because it's likely to go down. Okay, that's all that really needs to be said right now about distribution, and we'll be combining these things later once again. Now let's talk a little bit about the public fade, and if you had any questions about if operators or if the market fades the retail trader, then right now you're about to see on the charts how that actually does happen, and does happen quite frequently. And every time you see a yellow line, I have indicated where the MFI indicator indicates that the public was dominant on a particular bar. But for starters, so let's start with this bar. Okay, severe down bar. The public were the dominant traders in this bar, and immediately the next bar we start heading back up. Let's go to this bar. These bars marked in blue, they're special circumstances, and I'll talk about more about these two in a second. But public enters long here. Immediately we start turning back down against these longs. Okay, public goes short here. Immediately we start turning against these public shorts and going back up. Once again here the public is short. we immediately on the next bar start to turn and go back up. Here the public is long, and we immediately go back and start turning around, and this bar the public is long again, and immediately on the next bar we turn around and head back the other way. Now these two that I have the two arrows marked on, now these are the exceptions typically to the public getting faded, and that usually happens when they're not faded after a breakout of a higher low. You see, this is our low here, and this bar was a breakout of that low, and it was a public bar. But typically on a public bar, if it's a breakout of a known support or resistance level, then on the next bar after the public bar, the operators will usually stand aside and see if the public is going to take the market any further before they jump in and intervene. And that's in their best interest, because if the public is like a herd, and if they start to stampede, well, the broker, operator, market maker, they will the price will move too fast, and they can't keep up with the order flow, so they can't really control the market. Their advantage comes with knowing the order flow in advance, who's buying and who's selling. And on a breakout, and breakouts are many times news related, but on a breakout, so many new traders are coming into the market at one time, it kind of, let's just say, it overloads their manipulation system, and they have to stand aside for a moment. But then after they get back in, they go right back to it. And as we can see here, this is the breakout bar, the public bar, and the very next bar they stood aside as typical, and then when the public didn't take it down any further, that's when they started their work trying to go up against the public bar. And once again, we can see the same thing at work on this bar. Now this is a public bar, but it is a breakout of overhead resistance, and that will be this down bar, this red bar here, because this was a top and a low. Okay, so now this is a high by virtue of this low, and when this bar broke out of it, that breakout of this minor high here, and since it was a public bar, the operators on this very next bar, they stood aside and to see what would happen next. And that's why as you start looking back on your charts on this MFI indicator, you will start to notice that it's not very often that a green bar or a public bar will be followed by a blue bar immediately afterwards, because a lot of times the operators will wait and see if the public is going to take that next bar up before they go ahead and start to intervene. And that just makes sense, because they're waiting for the emotion of the public to burn itself out, and then usually they will correct prices back the other way. Oh, here's one. I think I missed one. Oh no, I got them all on here. So this is how the public gets faded, and this is direct evidence on the chart that the public, the herd, gets faded by the operators. And what this tell you about your trading? Well, if you're, say here, if you're in the market short and goes down and closes here, you've got a nice profit. But you see that this is a public bar, you know that the odds are high that price is going to reverse here. So if you're in short, you get out. And if you're thinking about entering short here, you're not going to enter short until you see what happens against the public here. And so here, okay, you don't want to go long at the close of this public bar, because you don't know what the operators are going to do against the public on the next bar. But now this is a breakout bar, so on a breakout bar you actually want to ride with the herd for the next bar. Okay, but you don't want to really ride with the public on a 4-hour chart anyway. You really don't want to go with that herd for more than a single bar or two at the very most if it's on a breakout. And that's enough about the public fade right now. And don't worry, we will be incorporating the public fade more into our total analysis. But just to give you an idea how predictive the MFI indicator can be if you know how to interpret what it's telling you. Okay, that'll end us now for the public fade.